you are doing extremely well this evening, and I hope you're in the mood for some terrifying stories. Now, tonight's theme is maybe a little bit more unconventional, a bit more creative, but these stories scare the absolute living shit out of me. So tonight's theme is going to be suspicious food. So with that being said, and of course, as always, without any further ado, let's get into tonight's stories, shall we? Alrighty, so the first one was originally posted by a Redditor called popcorn_isn't_corn. Their story is called What the Hell Did I Eat? I used to work the docks of a salmon cannery in Bumfuck, Alaska. 16-hour days, 7 days a week. No days off from May until August. Really cool job though, but lots of seedy characters. Seasonal work in remote places seems to attract people who don't really fit in with normal society, or people who want to get away from something. Now Gary was one of those people. He had worked at another cannery in town that was owned by the same parent company, and in the lead up to the fishing season, he was lent to our cannery for some carpentry tasks. Now Gary was probably in his 40s or 50s, grey hair, weird delivery in his speech, not like a speech disorder or a speech impediment, just like weird. Like he was smiling on the inside about something grotesque while he spoke. Now, when he first got to our camp, he was telling me the HR staff kept asking him all these personal questions. I asked, what kind of questions? And he responded they wanted his full name and phone number. Can you believe it? He told them that he didn't feel comfortable with that and would be willing to work for a reduced rate if he could just keep that information to himself. Red flag. Oh boy, and a big one as well. Now, one day, I'm working with a coworker on a little welding project when Gary pops out of a doorway. He goes, "Hey, you guys want some meat? We've been eating cafeteria food for weeks and working hard enough that we always maintained a caloric deficit. You don't say no to food." He then proceeds to cut off a slice for each of us. It was smoked something. Now, here's some personal info on me. My family is Eastern European. I was born in New York City, and I then spent half of my childhood in North Carolina. I've been eating smoked meats of every variety all my life. It's a piece of my culture, basically. Now, I don't know what the fuck this was. It was almost pork, but it was not pork. Gary goes, "You guys like that?" To which we respond sheepishly, "Yeah, thanks, Gary." Gary literally laughs, like slowly and creepily, and then he fucking leaves. Now me and the guy I'm working with softly. I am pretty sure I actually ate a slice of Gary's wife. I mean, I shouldn't be smiling. This is so disturbing. Like, this is so deeply disturbing that I'm just smiling because I'm really uncomfortable. What the hell did Gary serve the Redditor and his other co-worker? Like, that is mental. And then the fact that he has to be so suspicious about it. Like, he keeps asking whether they liked the meat and then laughing and then saying that it's funny. Oh no. I mean, you'll see later on with all of these stories tonight that basically the moral of the story is don't eat food that somebody offers you who you don't know that well. I mean, oh Christ. I hope it's some kind of like exotic meat, like this is like best case scenario that it's like crocodile or something like that, or like zebra or something. Jesus Christ, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, isn't there like a notorious serial killer who like allegedly fed his victims to people who visited his hamburger shack? Like, I feel like that's a thing, but I could have also made it up. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you know who I'm referring to. Jesus Christ, I would not want to be the Redditor in this situation. Blimey. Fucking Gary, man. Okay, so the next story was originally posted by a Reddit user called try-cauliflower-614. Their story is called The Pizza Guy. I'm a girl who was 15 when this took place. My parents are divorced, and on this particular evening I was with my dad because he can't cook for shit. We ordered pizza a lot from a well-known pizza chain. We did our usual order and my dad left some cash upstairs for me to pay with as he wanted to finish up his yard work before it got too late. It was early spring and it was around 8 p.m, so the sun was creeping downward and it was becoming dark fast. About 45 minutes later, there's a knock on the door. My dad is still out the back, so I grab the cash and I open the door. The pizza guy greets me with a grin. I politely hand him the cash as he hands over the pizzas, but before I could close the door, the pizza guy starts getting chatty. I didn't want to be rude, and the guy wasn't intimidating, so I engaged in conversation. However, one thing he said really stuck out to me. He mentioned to me that he recognized my last name on the ticket. I laughed and I said that we do eat a lot of silent for a moment and then asked me for a description of the guy. Confused, I obliged and listed basic traits. I was taller than him by a few inches. He had dark hair, glasses, and was probably in his late 30s if I had to guess. He was on the chubbier side and had a very cheerful but awkward disposition. He was acting and even speaking in a strange way. As I listed off each descriptor, my dad was feverishly typing on his phone. He called someone and told me to sit with my younger sister until he was off the phone. My sister was completely unaware of what was going on, so we just decided to play a board game to kill the time. We were dumb kids, so we just assumed that my dad was on a work call or talking to his girlfriend. However, as he was talking in the other room, we realised his tone of voice was much sterner and almost urgent. After a few moments, my dad stormed in and told me to come with him to the other room. He whipped out his phone and showed me a mugshot. I looked at him, bewildered, and I said, "That's the pizza guy." Almost immediately, he tells my sister and me that he's stepping out for a bit and to stay put, and most importantly, do not eat that pizza. I end up putting my sister to bed and texting my friends for hours while my dad was out. My dog, a strong and hefty boy, sat next to me, so I felt a little bit safer. Finally, around 1 a.m, my dad marches back into the house. He looked stressed, angry, and afraid. I've never seen him in this state before. I finally asked him what the hell is going on. We take a seat in the living room and he tells me everything. Our lovely pizza guy was, in fact, not just a pizza guy. He was insanely intelligent and extremely manipulative. The cheerful but awkward disposition that I described was in fact a ruse to gain my trust. Because of his intellect and ability to manipulate people effortlessly, he evaded the law and was never formally charged. As for how he escaped justice, based on the severity of his crimes, is just mind-boggling to me. The pizza guy was in fact involved in some shady activities in a rough part of town. He dealt with substances that are against the law, the softer stuff but also more dangerous and addictive substances. He had a habit of lacing the latter with cyanide, and at least 5 people who bought from him unknowingly consumed the goods that he provided, and it led to tragic outcomes. But that's not even the worst part. This pathetic excuse for a man subjected his mother, who was dying of cancer, to absolute mistreatment, and the post actually goes in detail a lot more than what I'm going to tell you, but it's a little bit too gruesome for this channel. But basically, he put her in a situation where she was horribly mistreated and confined to the basement until ultimately her cancer tragically killed her. disclose the entire outcome of their interaction, but my dad assured me that we were safe. He promised that the pizza guy would never come near us again. Now, unfortunately, that turned out to be false, as I actually saw him once more a few months later. Moral of the story: always trust your gut when something feels off. And don't accept pizza from a criminal. But that goes without saying, I think. Wow. Honestly, I am so glad that the Redditor trusted her gut, like her being only 15 and realizing the severity of the situation and being sensible enough to tell her dad about what had happened before touching that pizza. I mean, I am so glad that it went down that way. I'm also so glad that the dad took her seriously, right, and immediately started to investigate, because from the sounds of it, and knowing what he did to, his customers and his own mother, that guy would have been more than capable of lacing that pizza with something that would have seriously harmed them. Her sister, her father, and obviously it makes sense, right, that he would want revenge on the police officer who interrogated him, right? Ooh, absolutely wild. Now, it's not actually confirmed that this pizza was laced with anything. I think they just tossed it. It doesn't give any details in regards to that. But obviously not eating it was the right decision in this case, because who knows what would have happened. And then the fact that when the dad confronts the guy, he says so disgustingly that he's got plans for his daughter, for the Redditor, while licking his lips. Absolutely disgusting. Now, the Redditor mentions that she did see him again once more, and I can tell you in short what that was. So, she mentioned that her parents are divorced, and this actually happened when she was at her mum's, and it was her birthday, and the mum had ordered pizza for her and her friends, and when it turned up, it was that guy delivering it. So the Redditor started shouting all sorts at him, and he ran. Like, he actually got scared off, which is pretty badass. And she immediately told her dad, who once again confronted him and scared him off. So, since then, no more encounters with creepy pizza man. So, the last story for tonight actually happened to a pizza delivery person, so there's two sides to every coin. Now, this story was originally posted by a Reddit user called MooseGo64. Their story is called Creepy Pizza Delivery Experience. When I was in college, I got a job delivering pizzas late at night. Typically, I would work until about 2 a.m. It was a shitty job, was 19 at the time. I'm female and it was summertime in Colorado, so even at night it's still fairly warm. This is an important detail for later. This was my second weekend on the job, so I was still getting used to it, and I'm already quite a paranoid person, so I preferred just to drop off the pizza, taking my tip, and then leaving right away for the next delivery. To be fair, that's also the most efficient way to do it. Now, I pretty much never went inside the person's house, and if I did, I would just step inside real quick, but leave the door open. It was pretty close to midnight when I got a delivery to a house on the east side of town. It was supposed to be my last delivery of that night. I pulled up to the house and it looked pretty normal from the outside. The street was really dark, but I didn't necessarily feel uncomfortable. I walked up to the door and I knocked. This big, shirtless old dude with a beer belly answers the door and tells me to come inside. Now, I immediately got weird vibes from him, like right off the bat, so I declined to come in and I tried to just give him his pizza right there. But then he goes, "Come inside, it's freezing out and we don't want the cold air coming in." Now, this didn't make any sense as it was summer. So stupidly, I get nervous and I take one step inside his house, not going all the way in though, but then he goes, no, come all the way in, like it's really cold out. I should have left at this point, but I was freaking out, not thinking straight, so I went in and he closed both the screen door and the main door behind me. I'm now trying to calm myself down, telling myself that I'm overreacting. He then yells to his wife that the pizza is here. I can see her in the kitchen. She's cooking, which seemed weird that she ordered a pizza but was also cooking. I don't know. I look around their living room and it is filled to the brim with stuffed animals, completely covering the couches, the tables, the windowsills, everything. It honestly gave me a really weird vibe. Then his wife comes into the living room holding something outstretched in her hand. She walks up to me and I see that it's some kind of bread or cake. She goes, "Eat this banana bread and don't worry, it's not poisoned." What the hell? I try to politely decline, lying and saying that I'm on a diet. She just stares at me blankly, still holding the banana bread in her outstretched hand, waiting for me to take it. I don't take it, and then she gets really upset and starts yelling at me to eat the bread. I decline once again, but this time I'm not trying to be polite anymore, and I tell the couple that I really got to get going back to work. I'm still holding their pizza too, and thinking about just running out the door at this point. She gives up on trying to make me eat the bread, and she walks back into the kitchen. Then the man is like, "Let me find some change for your tip." He starts looking all around the living room, digging through the couch cushions, trying to find change to give to me. I tell him to forget it and that I don't need the tip, that he can just take the pizza, but he insists on finding a tip for me. He spends the next several minutes searching his stuffed animal-infested living room for change, and I start to think to myself that they're trying so freaked out that I just tell the dude I'm leaving and start to open the door. He took his pizza and gave me a few quarters that he found. I booked it out of there and went back to the shop. I told my supervisor what happened and he didn't seem to care. He just sent me on another delivery. I was pissed. I don't know if that couple was actually creepy. Oh, 100%, or just really socially awkward, but I never delivered to that house again. I mean, that couple was hella creepy. There's no doubt about that. And not because of the stuffed animals. That's weird. You know, the stuffed toys. Weird. But that doesn't make you creepy. What makes you creepy is insisting somebody who is clearly uncomfortable come inside your house. Like inside your living room, you shut the door behind them and everything while they are clearly uncomfortable. And then, right then, trying to force them to eat your suspicious, shady banana bread, right? And explicitly telling them, without anyone asking about it, that it is not poisoned. That is hella creepy. I would say that is even creepier than a random guy on a beach trying to convince you to drink from his coconut. This is arguably even creepier. See, what I said a few videos ago still stands. Like, I am so baffled that our brains insist on rationalizing things. Like, our brains insist on convincing us that we're being paranoid and that we're overreacting when we are clearly in a dangerous situation and our gut is screaming at us to get out of there. That's why people say you should listen to your gut and not your brain, because for some reason our brains try to rationalize everything and make us think that we're being paranoid. Wild. I am also really pissed off at that manager or supervisor, whatever it was, for not even acknowledging what happened. Like, honestly, the fact that he didn't even allow this woman to, have a breather, to sit there and process what happened, and that he just sent her on another delivery, that is just completely out of order. People could do with a bit more empathy, to be fair, and I mean, some people could do with the ability to take other people seriously and to consider other people's feelings and experiences valid. But hey, who am I, right? Who am I? Alright, you guys, sadly, that was it for tonight's scary